I have a story to tell you. Okay, now it's gonna be a long story, so don't get impatient. Do you know what snow is? You know what snow is, right?
Yeah.
The white stuff that comes down the sky. It's cold, right? Okay. Do you know Grandma Mary? See that? She's my mama. Okay.
Great
And
grandma
you know,
Sticky.
yeah, Grandma Sticky Mary. And you know Clint? Clint's my brother. Okay, so Clint is in this story too. All right. Well, once upon a time when I was a little kid, and I was a little bit older than you, I was about 7 years old. You guys are what, 4 and 3, and
1, 2,
I-
3, 4, 5, 6,
Right.
7.
and I had an older sister Diana and a Clint, and a younger sisters Jan and Annette. I was in the middle, but we were waiting for Christmas so bad. We would wish and wish and wish and wish and wish for presents all year long, and finally Christmas came. And we would say, "Oh, Mom, are we going to put presents under the tree?" And she would say, "Well, yeah, don't worry, we'll get the presents under the tree." Now, the tree, we didn't have a plastic tree, and we didn't have a tree from a store. We went out to the pasture and cut one down and put it up all by ourselves and had sprinkly things all over it and everything like that. So we're waiting to go to church on Christmas Eve. And we're waiting and waiting and waiting. Well, guess what? I said, Mom, when are you going to find the presents out under aren't the presents going to be under the tree? And she goes, "Well, don't worry, they'll be there." And we're kind of worried because usually they have the big presents, the Santa Claus presents under the tree, but somehow they weren't there. And I said, what are we going to do? So finally I said, "Mom, aren't the presents under the tree?" And Diana, my older sister, said this. She said, "Don't you get it? If we go out to the car, then Mom and Dad will put the presents under the tree." And I said, "Oh, okay." So we went out to the car, and it was cold. It was cold. We were just shivering and so cold and waiting. Finally, the lights turned off, and let's go. And so we went off, driving the car to town to go to church, because we lived way out in the country on a farm. Well, all the way there, my older brother Clint would tease me about Santa Claus, and he would say, "Oh, look, there goes Santa Claus in the sky." And there was an airplane blinking red lights or something. And then it disappeared. "Oh, it's gone. You've just missed him." And after a few minutes, he would go, "Oh, there goes Santa Claus again. Look. And I go, where? And it disappeared behind a tree. "No, you missed him again." And I said, finally, "Quit it. You're just teasing me." And we got in such fights, my parents turned around and said, "Look, if you guys don't be quiet back there, nobody's going to get any presents." Okay. And we behaved really good. Well, we got to the church, and we went into the church, and we were in the Christmas program. And they turned the lights off, and they had just candles, and it was beautiful, and we sang songs, and we said our parts, and then we're done, and then we're ready to go home. Let's go home and get our presents, okay? Oh no, we couldn't do that, because my grandma, who you don't know, Grandma Katie, she lived in town and she was lonely, and we should go visit her before we go. Okay, so we went to Grandma's house. Well, my grandma had lemon drops and cookies always, and we ran to the kitchen and got lemon drops and cookies, and we waited, and it started to snow. Do you know that? It started to snow while we were in church. And we said, "Can we please go? Can we please go, please go, please go?" And let's stay a little longer. And after a while we said, "Can we please go now?" And they said, "Well, just stay a little." "Oh, why don't you go Christmas caroling for the neighbors?" So we went to go Christmas caroling for the neighbors. We sang songs for the neighbor ladies and came back, and finally said, "Can we now go?" And my dad says, "Just wait a little longer." Well, my older sister Diana, who was very smart, said, "You know, Dad, it's 9:30 right now, and our bedtime is 9 o'clock. We should really be in bed." And he said, "Well, okay, yeah, we get to go for presents." So we drove home in the snow. It snowed like this much on the ground. And as we drove south of town to her house, I noticed something. that we were driving on the road where nobody had driven before. And the moon up in the sky was shining down on the snow, and it looked like diamonds all over the ground, sparkling and sparkling and sparkling. It was beautiful. Well, we finally got going, and guess what Clint did again? He was teasing me about Santa Claus again. He said, "Oh, look, there goes another. There goes Santa. Oh, you just missed Santa Claus. Sorry. Oh, there goes Santa Claus again. You just missed him again." And I said, "Will you just shut up about Santa Claus? Don't say that about Santa Claus." And again, my mom and dad said, "Now you kids better be quiet down there, or we're not going to get you any presents." And we argued all the way back home. Well, we turned in the driveway of our house, and Clint said, "Well, see, look, there's sleigh tracks in the snow." And I jumped over the back seat and I said, "Where?" And sure enough, there were 2 tracks going right down our lane. And those tracks were not as wide as the car, they were narrower. And they were skinnier than a tire track. And you go, "Wow, that does look like sleigh tracks." And those sleigh tracks went right up in front of our house and stopped. And I got out and looked and looked and looked and looked. And I told Clint, I said, "Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If this is really Santa Claus's sleigh, where are the hoof prints of the reindeers?" And he said, "Well, the reindeer, you know, they can fly, right? So he just parked them in the air like that." And I go, "Oh, rats, that's right." And I looked up on the roof of the house and said, "Okay, if Santa Claus really came into our chimney, then there should be footmarks on the roof, right?" And he said, "Well, Santa Claus can fly too. He can go through that." Oh, rats, that's right. So I didn't know. I go, "Oh, I gotta see if Santa Claus brought any presents." And I ran into the house. I was the first one in the house, turned the lights on, and went into the Christmas tree and looked for the presents, and there weren't any presents there. And I thought, wait a minute, are we not going to have any Christmas? And I ran back out into the kitchen where we were taking our coats off. I said, Mom, there's no presents. We're not going to have any Christmas. Did we get robbed? Santa Claus didn't bring any presents." And she says, "Why don't you take your coat off? And maybe you should go back in the living room and look again." And I went, "Huh? Well, look again." So I turned and looked right again, and there was this big pile of big presents. And I said, "Wait, Mom, Dad, how did the presents get there? What?" And my dad said, "Well, of course, Santa Claus brought them just now." "Well, wait a minute. Well, how could Santa Claus bring presents right now?" "Well, you just missed him. He ran out that door." And I said, I got you now. That door on the side of our house, it's been nailed shut for like 10 years. Nobody can go out that door. He said, "Well, Santa Claus is kind of like a ghost. He can go through walls." Oh, rats, that's right. And I thought, how in the world did those sleigh tracks get there, and how in the world did those presents get there? And I was sitting over all by myself, and they said, "Come on over. Why don't you open up, eat some popcorn balls." My dad made popcorn balls, and eat some candy and open up the presents. I don't even know what I got for Christmas that year, but I'll always remember how those mysterious sleigh tracks got there and how those presents came out, but nobody knows how they got out there. Isn't that a mystery? Yeah. That's the end of the story.
Oh, how could Santa go through walls? He does not even have any monster powers.
Oh, well, he's got more powers than you think he does. What do you think about that? That really happened to me when I was a kid.
He does not walk through walls, and he does not fly, and he does.
Well, tell me this, Levi.
And he does not make mysterious presents.
I don't know how it
How
happened.
does he go to everybody's house on the same night? In Gossel, and in Newton, and in Wichita, and in Bueller.
In California and Texas. How
How
does he
does
do
he do that?
Maybe he just walked right through the roof.
Somehow.
Maybe he just walked right through the room.
Maybe.
And dropped the presents right there under the tree.
Maybe.
Maybe.